So today we're diving into something pretty wild, a leaked document that lays out Iran's detailed plan to sink an American aircraft carrier. And get this, it's not just some what-if scenario. No, this was a real operational blueprint that absolutely rattled the highest levels of the US government. So let's break down exactly what they had in mind.
Okay, so picture this. It's February 3rd, 2026. A 47-page document, all in Farsi, stamped with the insignia of Iran's Revolutionary Guard, suddenly appears on the desks of intelligence analysts. And the title? I mean, the title alone is enough to give you chills. Operation Martyr's Vengeance.
Right away, this thing raised a massive, terrifying question. Was this just, a contingency plan, a what-if exercise, or was this something way, way more dangerous, like the actual blueprint for a war that could drag the whole world into it?
Well, it didn't take long for analysts to confirm their absolute worst fears. This wasn't some academic study. Nope. This was a complete, ready-to-go operational war plan. And we know this because it was leaked by a CIA source who was deep inside Iran's missile command. The goal? Crystal clear. Take out a U.S. carrier strike group with one single overwhelming punch.
The scale of this planned attack? It's just staggering. The plan called for a first wave of over 200 ballistic missiles. Let that sink in. Not 20, 200. The strategy was basically brute force, designed to just completely overwhelm everything.
But, it's not just about the number of missiles. It's the timing that's really key here. The whole salvo, all 200-plus missiles, were supposed to launch within a 90-second window. Think about that. The idea was to throw so much at the carrier group's defenses all at once that they just couldn't possibly stop everything. It's a classic saturation attack.
And this wasn't just a fire everything and hope for the best kind of plan. No, it was a really sophisticated, multi-layered assault. It's like a coordinated play. First, you have the bulk of the missiles, the Shahab 3s. Their job is just to soak up the defenses, to create chaos. Right behind them, a wave of faster, solid-fuel missiles, the CIL-2s, which get there quicker. Then you have precision hunter missiles going after the escort ships, the carrier's bodyguards. And then, once the defenses are all scrambled and weakened, you send in the finishers, the hypersonic Fatah 2 missiles. They're designed for a near-certain kill.
What really drives home how ready this plan was is the countdown sequence. It's all laid out, minute by minute. Every single step, from getting that final satellite confirmation of the carrier's position just 15 minutes before launch, all the way to the final go-ahead. This thing was ready to go, like, right now.
So you gotta be wondering, what were the odds of this actually working? Well, according to Iran's own numbers, right there in the document, they gave themselves a better than 70% chance of a mission kill. Now that means damaging the carrier so badly that it can't launch or land planes, basically taking it completely out of the fight.
So when President Trump gets briefed on this, his first question is just blunt, straight to the point. He just asks, can they actually do this? And really, that was the question hanging over everyone's head. At the Pentagon, the White House, you can bet on the carrier itself.
And the answer he got back from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, it was chillingly honest. He basically said, look, our defenses are good, they're really good, but they are not designed to stop 200 missiles coming in all at once. His final assessment? The math is against us.
As you can imagine, this sent the National Security Council straight into crisis mode. They were suddenly facing three huge critical questions. One, is this for real? Does Iran actually plan to do this, or is it just a threat? Two, could we even detect a launch like this in time to do anything about it? And three, what can we do right now, today, to make sure this terrifying plan can never, ever happen?
So the U.S. response moved on two tracks at once. On the military side, they immediately beefed up the defenses for all the carrier groups in the region. Missile defense became priority number one. At the same time, on the diplomatic front, they used back channels to send a very stark warning to Tehran. The message was simple. We know your plan, and if you try it, it will be suicide. Man, the days that followed were just incredibly tense. So February 3rd, the plan leaks. Just 2 days later, on the 5th, U.S. satellites start picking up suspicious activity at Iranian missile sites. Then on the 7th, Iran sends this super carefully worded message, doesn't confirm the plan, but doesn't deny it either. The U.S. fires back a day later, warning of overwhelming retaliation. I mean, talk about a high-stakes game of geopolitical chess. Eventually, things cooled down a bit. The immediate crisis de-escalated. But even with all that careful diplomacy, you couldn't put the genie back in the bottle. A new, hard truth was out there. The world's most powerful navy now knew, for a fact, that its most prized asset was vulnerable.
The whole strategic game had just been changed, permanently.
And you can see the results of this new reality almost immediately. Just 3 weeks after the leak, an urgent classified budget request hits the table at the Pentagon. The price tag? $8.7 billion. And all of that money was aimed at one thing: beefing up defenses. More interceptor missiles, better radar, and pouring cash into R&D for next-gen stuff like laser weapons.
You know, this whole episode just completely shattered a long-held belief. For decades, U.S. carriers kind of roamed the seas with this aura of invincibility. But the new reality, proven right there on paper by Iran, is that nobody's invincible. Even the most powerful ships are vulnerable. And it showed that a determined attacker with enough firepower can overwhelm even the most advanced defenses just by flooding them with targets.
So, when you look at all this, who really won? It's complicated. On one hand, Iran definitely strengthened its ability to deter an attack, but they did it by revealing their biggest secret. The US, meanwhile, had to face a really uncomfortable truth about its vulnerability, but it also lit a fire under them to fast-track new defensive tech. Really, the leak just changed the game for everybody involved.
And this really gets to the core of what a credible threat is in modern warfare, right? It's all about making your opponent look at the potential cost of a fight and just say, nope, not worth it. And in that sense, Iran's plan actually worked. They never had to fire a single missile because the plan itself was enough to make the United States completely rethink the risks of its operations in the region.
And just in case anyone out there still thought this was all just a big bluff, about 6 months later, Iran put on a demonstration. They held this massive missile exercise, firing off dozens of missiles in a coordinated strike that was over in less than 2 minutes. The message couldn't have been clearer. This isn't just theory. This is real. We can do this.
So today, that 47-page document is locked away in a vault somewhere. The missiles are ready to go, which leaves us with a really unsettling question. Are we safer because this terrifying plan was dragged out into the open? Or are we in more danger now that everyone has seen a preview of what the opening shots of the next major war might actually look like?